You know what I like? Big pizza and big tables. Let's build big tables.
Like that.
Like this.
What's going on?
All right, so we are gonna be building this really cool table for the local pizzeria called Benny's. Benny Marconi's, but everyone just calls it Benny's. And we're gonna be building it out of 3/16 sheet. And we're gonna be doing a system similar to the shelf brackets that we built, which have tab and slots to make them easier to assemble. But we're gonna be doing it out of 3/16 sheet, so I'm gonna be testing the slots to make sure that they fit at a bigger scale, and I'm also going to be giving them a little bit of wiggle room so that way it keeps them in line in one direction, but Aaron can move them back and forth in the other.
Ah.
So that's what we're testing today. We'll see if it works. So here's our test piece. The draws shouldn't be too big of a problem. So here's the smallest one, it looks like. So they fit in there well. You can see there's a little bit of a gap, but that's just because of the draws. Follow me. We're gonna go do it. Nobody else is here in the shop right now, so we get to be a little dangerous
Ooh. Spike using power tools?
boys. I don't like the top that I can do it, but it's because I can't. Much better. So, you see that it fits right in there. It doesn't go all the way through. I made this notch so that way it was an 1/8. So that way they can just plug weld that, as they call that. But we'll see what Aaron says.
All right.
Here are the 3 different slots.
Oh, you de-drossed them already, great.
I did.
Ish.
Ish. Look, you can see. I de-drossed the only one that mattered, all right?
I mean, that matters.
Matter. So this is kind of the base of the foot, and I think that's a pretty good side-to-side fit.
I mean, if it's not de-drossed, I think we will de-dross this.
You want to de-dross it real quick?
I'd say it probably will give us a clearer read.
Yeah, please, do it.
Can we show you how to use an angle grinder?
Yeah, I would love to. Today, we're going to learn how to angle grind. Thanks, Aaron.
Should have seen Spike earlier. Ooh, I have to use power tools. His bottom lip was quivering.
My bottom lip was not quivering.
He was going. He went, me?
It's almost like someone gave like a drunk chimpanzee access to power tools.
I'm not drunk. How does it work?
Hey, great job on those.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Really?
Thank you, Aaron. So, side to side, I think that's pretty good. Like, not a whole lot of space in each one. The side to side is the same in each
That's
one.
not for you to decide.
All right. What do you think, Aaron?
Uh-oh.
These are all the same, right?
They're all the same side to side.
Oh,
But
I thought the front to back was where we had the room.
that is. So this one is the smallest one.
In a perfect world, that would be tighter.
Okay.
But you, on the daily, remind us all that we don't live in a perfect world.
You want that to be tighter? Side to side, like
The front to back?
no.
All of it?
Well,
The wiggle. All right, so you want that tighter side to
yeah, a
side.
little tighter, and then front to back is fine. I feel good with that.
Okay. Well, I'll do another test to see how side to side.
Tighten it up a little bit this time.
I'm not even gonna de-dross it for you next time.
It didn't this time.
Why start now?
Anyways, let's move on to another piece of this project that we're all having a good time with.
Yeah, what are these? Also, what the fuck are we making?
These are going to be the 3 legs for the table that we're building for Benny's. And this is galvanized pipe. Ooh, is that right?
We don't like that.
Galvanized is bad because, I'll let Aaron tell you why.
Because cancer, mostly. No, it's a coating that I don't know if it's a dipping process. I don't know what the actual galvanization process is, but it's a coating that keeps it from rusting. It's great. It's what you see on, telephone poles, street signs, that kind of thing. Anything that looks like metal that isn't rusty and isn't stainless. It typically kind of has that like almost OSB, like metal OSB look to it.
Looks a little chalky almost.
Yeah, chalky, gross, not great. Really not a huge fan of working with this stuff, but under that is just typical mild steel. So very usable, and in instances like this, we can put it to good use.
Is it grinding that's the problem, or welding on it's the problem?
Both. Basically, anytime that galvanized finish is airborne in any form, be that burning it off and it's a smoke. We've actually had a couple different projects over the years where you can see when you weld, it almost turns to like floating cotton candy. Really, really nasty stuff. So we're gonna try and avoid that. I am not particularly excited about grinding or welding on that, but it's because I like my lungs. But very doable, so we'll do it. Just wearing plenty of PPE and using our trusty fume extractor. That's him.
Yeah. So we have to grind only certain parts. Right. Because we're a team. We work together, Aaron.
Yes, and we have to get the tolerances right in CAD.
Blah, 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 done.
Fuck up.
Aaron has to grind these in very particular spots. So the 3/16 sheet that we're going to be cutting into fancy shapes is going to be welded in between the legs, and then there's also going to be gussets at the top and bottom at each of them. So we are going to grind, can you tell me that process? Are you going to grind just a really small line, or like big enough?
Honestly, I'm a little bit unsure because they're all, we've got some different kind of axes to consider. Some are going to be on this face, some are going to be on that face. Keeping everything in phase and making sure I get everything is probably this wiser move, is just to like find the top point and grind all the way down. If our lathe was running, I would set up a vacuum and go at it with a flap wheel and let it spin on there, so I could just get a nice consistent finish down there.
How much time does it take to grind off the galvanization? And is it evident when you do?
We'll find out.
Okay.
We will. And yeah, sure, there's probably a cost analysis to be done on, or cost time analysis to be done on, does it make sense salvaging galvanized stuff and putting in the time to prep it and make it safe. Because the other thing is, even when you get it off exterior, it's still on the inside as well. So obviously we're not going to be, it's pretty thick wall stuff, we're not going to be like blowing through it, but we're still heating it to the point of turning it into nastiness, nasty cotton candy. So I'm going to be Captain Safety on making everybody wear PPE when we're doing it in here.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to play around, because if it was a flat surface, angle grinder with a flap wheel on there would be the move. We've got a little cutoff that I could, so I'm going to throw that in the sandblaster just to see.
Okay.
Because also, like, there's like gross, like this clearly was an old like street lamp or something in another life, which is kind of the fun thing about steel. You can kind of reuse it endlessly, but it's got all kinds of grossness on it that it's going to have to come off. So
all right, cool. But anyways, here are your measurements for that.
great, let's get started.
All right. Here we go.
Go team.
All right, stat.
All right, so our new samples. You did a great job this time. I will say, high marks on improvement, most improved award. Just the kind of entry point creates a little like boop boop.
Yeah.
But even still, I mean, that is like, there's like barely anything there.
That's crazy.
Perfect.
Here's my worry. This is the feet, right? Like this is the exact size of the foot.
Sure.
But if we're doing it on that big main panel, and there's 1, 2, 3, there's 6 of them. So here's one panel.
Right. Gotcha.
And there's 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots for that to fit in. My worry is if one of them doesn't stick in,
It's
if the cuts are inconsistent.
if one of them doesn't stick in, it's easy to adjust it. You know,
Okay.
just by removing a little bit of material.
We discussed about it being plug welded, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is you weld it from the back side of the hole, so that way you don't see it on this side.
Correct.
So what I've
Which
done,
again is why I would like the tighter tolerances, just so you don't get any of the kind of like, it wouldn't look like this, but you know, kind of getting that sugaring look of the underside of a weld peeking through, like that particularly is noticeable when you're powder coating something, just because it's such a hard change in texture.
okay,
So having it tight to where you don't see any weld kind of coming through is a asset.
is that good for you?
Yeah. That's perfect, because that's essentially a bevel. So I could just lay that down in there,
Okay.
then go flat from there.
So one of the cool things about this table is that we designed it so that way it would be basically one material. So we're using about 3/4 of a sheet of 3/16 in order to do all of the legwork. There's only the posts and the foot rails, and the rest is 3/16 sheet. It should be pretty neat. And here we go.
I got everything from Spike, and then once we sort out the intense dedrossing process on this, which, you know, is always important, but something like this, which is something that's going to be interacted with a whole lot. So we really want to make sure that every little bit of that dross gets deed. But once I got all those pieces and started sorting them out, really doing this kind of tab and slot, anytime you're fabricating anything, you're really kind of doing it for the first time. This is like real-time rapid prototyping of a sort. I mean, we have a rendering that's made, but as far as fixturing and how all the pieces actually go together in real time is something that really only gets figured out by doing it in a tactile fashion, which is what I'm doing here. Just kind of laying everything out, you know, trying to compensate for any lack of flatness in our table, which that's not meant as a disparaging term to our table because she's real flat, but nothing is really all that flat. Things settle, the concrete has settled here, and it creates slight high points and low points, and the most challenging thing about this fabrication is keeping everything straight, because the tab and slot construction makes it real kind of straightforward. It really aids in setting everything up, getting the spanners to kind of stand erect there. One of the more challenging components of this build was just figuring out order of operations. I took the route of just tacking those on with a square, or checking with a square, just to make sure that it is that they were consistent and flat, and that gave me just a little bit more room to put on the side supports, and then I could kind of go through and make sure all three were the same, and then insert the spanners between the two of them. Again, a lot of just kind of checking and repeating and moving things around. Everything was real heavy, which makes, you know, when there's a small contact area on one end and it's real heavy and it's standing tall, you have a lot of kind of fine tuning to do and a lot of room for it to go wrong. So check, and then tack, and then if you need to, tack on the opposite side to compensate, work around, kind of work with the way the metal moves around, using that to your advantage to kind of correct small alignment issues. But overall, it went very smoothly. We were able to knock this out pretty quickly on the whole. With all the tab and slots, what that did was it made the amount of weld that would be exposed pretty minimal. I'm firmly of the nothing too strong ever broke approach, so I did want some welds that would be on the outside. I didn't want to just stick with the plug welds, which would be welding the backside of the tab and slot. Also, of course, did that, but that requires lots of grinding after the fact to get everything nice and smooth, which again, it went swimmingly. Considering how big this table base was, and how much room there was for it to go wrong. It's actually longer than our table, which kind of required a little finagling and moving from one side to the other, but kept everything in phase and got all our supports on there. Real happy with how it came out, and then it was a matter of flipping around and working on the feets.
Well, look at that, everybody. Look at this man and his work. I mean, shout out Spike, shout out Shop Saver. These panels are sweet.
Shout out Old Street Lamp.
Hey, that's a galvanized fence post, okay? So it's worse. Shout out Lucas at Powder Coating Creations for
All the blasting,
he's about to do. But no, thoughts so far?
It's great. I really like doing the tab and slot method. It makes setup go very quickly.
It's sort of a color by numbers almost at that point.
Essentially, which explains what Spike's been doing this week.
Yeah, right.
It's all coming full circle.
Yeah. What's next?
Next, I'm gonna do a little cleanup on it, just to try to make this life a little bit easier, and then flip it around. I'm gonna go ahead and anchor, because we did get a little bit of cupping on some of the feet. Gonna clamp those down on the table nice and securely and put the footrest in there. That will be after lunch. So one of the last and most important components of all this, one of my fears in putting this base together was that it was, because it's so big and long, but it really has minimal contact points. I was really worried about it being a little wobbly or canting to one side or the other. Was surprised at how stable it was. It really went well. Again, thanks to Spike and his tab and slot design work that he did on this. But one of the final things that really kind of brought it together and really anchored it down was going to be the foot rail. We thought we were going to have to order a fresh stick of tube for this. We ended up finding something that worked perfect. It was a little overkill, but again, nothing too strong ever broke, so we went with a thicker wall than we normally would have. And it also is good because it gets our center of gravity down a good bit there. We had, on each, there's 3 legs, so you have really nice solid contact points on all that. The struts that are holding those up worked out great. We didn't even have to adjust any of the little cutouts that we made to kind of cradle the footrest. One of the most difficult parts was getting the footrest in phase with the top of the table, or the top of the base rather, just because it's so big and you're working on it and short of like dropping a plumb line, it's hard to kind of visualize all of that and get it completely square. But we were able to do that, got that welded on there, and then that left us with the last thing was just putting some plug welds in the end of the foot rail, just so you don't have that open hole, because there is nothing scarier than a metal tube with an open hole. If you trip and fall, you don't want any kind of thing that could potentially take a plug of meat out of your leg if you were to fall into it. And that's why it's very important to get those plug welds welded. Also, this is food service, so you don't want to have anything where, crumbs and stuff can gather in there and get gross and moldy. So really important to get those completely sealed up. And when we're all done, we have a big old strong table base that we were excited to send off to powder. it was a big project that really went smoothly and quickly, which is always such a win to be able to say.
You want some pizza?
What you think about pizza?
How's it feel?
Big pizza.
The biggest pizza.
The biggest pizza. Oh, it feels great.
Foot rail feels like the right height.
Yeah.
It's a little flexy, huh? Or is that the whole thing moving?
I think that's the whole thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's some thick wall tubing. That's got to be stronger than the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is flexing that. But that'll probably never happen.
Will it skate?
Do a kickflip. I guess the only thing is cap these eventually. They're capped. Got them all capped up, looking good, feeling good. This is ready for the powder coater. Yeehaw.
Are they doing like a rustic wood top on it, or
I don't know
wood
if we're just
resin,
gonna
or
reuse the one that's there.
Oh,
because we
okay.
basically built it to the same specs as the
Gotcha.
existing one.
That'll be cool.
So we can just sort of transfer
Sure.
the top
Yeah,
to
yeah.
this one. If they want to put a new one on later, they can.
gotcha. Happy and fall school heartily,
yeah.
you know. So it's
How about we meet you down there in 15, 20 minutes? Okay, great. We'll see you there. There's our game plan for the day. Let's install a table, shall we? Maybe we'll get some pizza out of it. This morning, we're gonna bring our new table base down to Benny Marconi's, downtown Roanoke, and do the old switcheroo. This is Spike.
I'm so excited.
Spike's not awake yet.
No, I'm not. Yeah, Benny's time.
Get some
We're
tools.
gonna lay it down or just keep it standing?
Probably just keep it standing and we'll put a strap over it. Anybody who does installs knows how frustrating it is to like pack up portions of your shop and take them on the road and then come back and then unpack your shop, put it back in your shop, and then you forget what you've packed and unpacked, and like, I don't need a router for this job, so I'm gonna unpack it and put it away. This is kind of our go bag. It usually has everything we need to either measure for a job or do most installs. So we've got screwdrivers, pliers, knives, bits, scrapers, wrenches, a hammer, measurement, chalk line, utility knife, tape measure, markers, sort of all the basic stuff. And then at the bottom of every go bag is always leftover hardware from jobs and trash you didn't want to leave in the customer's house. week on Lift Arc Studios, we install a table base in a downtown pizza shop.
We gotta get it done before the pizza's ready.
If we don't get it done, they can't sell pizza.
Benny Marconi is counting on us.
Oh my God, Spike, we have to save the local pizza industry. Ladies and gentlemen, downtown Roanoke.
I love Roanoke.
I do love this little town. Watch out, miss. Coming through, Lift Arcs in town. Watch this shit. No way.
No way.
Look at that.
No way.
The wheels are like sideways. This thing's so cool. It's great to see you.
Good to see you.
Howdy, howdy.
Hi.
Everyone, this is Miss Olivia Mai. Did I say that right?
Hello. Yes.
With Benny's. The best team available. You drew the short straw, right? To come meet us this morning?
No. I wanted to do this.
Hey, yeah, how's it looking
Help with
there?
anything?
I think we can do it.
I mean, the tabletop is still on it. I didn't do anything except move the stools.
Yeah, that's perfect. Hey, Spike, let's take this table. The people know we're gonna unload. Perfect. Let's set some of these cones around. We're just putting that top on this, right? Flip this upside down, and we'll remove the 4 bases from the bottom of it. And then we'll bring our base in upside down, set it on the already overturned table base, screw it, and then write the whole thing. That's the plan. Just came off. I'd say it's time for a new base.
What's your go-to pizza topping?
I'm a really basic dude, although I do like mushrooms, onions, and black olives. That's my favorite pizza. Mushrooms, olives, black onions, black olives.
It's gotta have onions. Honestly, I'm a real sucker for barbecue chicken pizza. I know that's probably a controversial take, but if it's gotta be classic, you just go sausage and onions. That's my favorite. Some of these are probably not number 3 speed.
A little bit wider, number 4.
All right, let's go flat with this, Mr. Spike. All right, shall we? All good. All right, let's tilt it over. Cool. It should be 6. All right. And really the eyeball test is all you really need at this point, but yeah.
Hi, my name is Olivia. I do interior design for Benny's Pizza.
What do you think?
I think it's great. We're really excited to make this new base. I think we're trying to make Marconi's a little bit more of a flagship store. So I feel like adding more of those like Roanoke elements or just more design elements are gonna make it just that much more better. I think right now we're really trying to focus in on what the new Benny's brand is kind of going to look like for all of our new stores and franchises, and how we can still keep that Benny's element but add in some of those more custom pieces and making it, you know, special to the area that the Benny's restaurants are in, because we really like having that local feel and making sure that, you know, people like feeling that it's, you know, something special to their town, their area. So I think having those special, unique pieces are gonna really stand out.
See how many times I can hit my head on this trail. So far, the answer is 5. Ready? See if that screw's hold. They better. I'm getting 40 of them. Oh, it's a lot heavier than it was, for sure. Yeah, dude.
That's awesome. That looks so good.
I'm going dumb, I'm going stupid. Music and drugs is the same that I'm using. I'm
Well, there it is. We're done. Spike, good job. I feel like there's something between us. Yeah, I was promised pizza. We'll get pizza. Can we have pizza?
Yeah.
We'll get pizza. We'll pay for it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Olivia over there for helping come up with this awesome idea, for hiring local. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you for doing it.
We're stoked with it. Happy to do it. Thank you guys for watching. Obviously, click all the buttons that makes the algorithm happy. We'll see you on the next one. And buy some merch. You can't buy this. He continues to wear the one we can't sell.
You can buy it for $2,500. I'll sign it for you.
That's true. Please, we really need, we're about to move. We need money real bad.
You get the money? Why don't I? It's my shirt.
I want to get a cut off the top.
Thanks, Olivia.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Another job well did.